Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunny Side podcast. Today, I am joined by Jeff Wong. He is the owner of a company called Dagi. They are an MSP based in Canada. I'm going to let Jeff introduce himself. Jeff, hello, sir. How are we doing?
I'm wonderful, Finn. Thanks again for having me today. As you mentioned, my name's Jeff Wong. I'm the CEO and owner and founder of Dagi, an MSP located in Southern Ontario that focuses on a cybersecurity-first mentality when supporting our customer service, our customers, and providing the best-in-class customer service.
Nice. I like that pitch. So, Jeff, obviously, I know a little bit kind of about your journey as the founder, but would you kind of mind giving us a bit of an overview and a bit of a summary of what's been the journey up until this point?
Absolutely. So in 2010, I noticed a gap in the marketplace, and I was in the copier industry selling for Ricoh and Xerox and even for Pitney Bowes. And what we realized is that there was all this paper being produced, and yet nobody was doing anything with it. So I started a firm that was using OCR to scan and document or transform all of their paper into digital formats that they could upload to their own CRMs or their own management systems. As the paper dried out, we started looking at other options to create a recurring revenue model. And after going through some iterations of voice over IP, and then into a break fix model, and then into a managed services model, which basically took form and fully launched in 2016. So we've been doing, or sorry, pardon me, in 2018. So we've been doing it for about 8 years, supporting clients with break fix, and then fully into an MSP about 6 years ago.
Nice. Okay. So you was break fix and you went into kind of bit of an MSP. So you say you're cybersecurity focused MSP. So are you an MSSP or would you say you're still an MSP?
No, I still wouldn't classify ourselves as an MSSP, and mainly because that's not our. I mean, it is our focus, but that's not the only product that we lead with. So we, again, security first MSP is the best way to describe us.
Okay, nice work. So what would you kind of say your main value proposition is to your clients? I mean, who is it that you kind of work with?
Sure. I mean, our clientele really run the gambit. We have all different types of verticals that we do support. Our main focus for 2026 is looking at private wealth investors and brokers, and as well as insurance agencies and brokerages. Mainly because we know the compliance standards and understand what is required of them when meeting FISRA and CIRO and PIPEDA, which is the Privacy and Information Protection Electronic Data Act in Canada.
Nice. So that's predominantly what financial planners and all of that kind of industry. So that's a bit of an interesting set. So is that a new thing, or have you worked with them kind of for the whole time?
We've been working with them I mean, we have multiple clients in that vertical. We've had them for 5+ years, but what we have done in the past, specifically in 2025, is really honed in our focus to understand those industries. And so we can really speak to what they need to, the regulatory standards that they need to meet, including reporting as well as just being able to secure and provide evidence towards that restriction of data getting out into the world, as well as their responsibilities in reporting any breaches that may occur.
Nice. Okay. So what would you say? So predominantly you're going to be their first MSP. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, and what we would do is do an analysis of their network and determine where their gaps might be. And that doesn't just mean IT; it also means business risk in terms of how are we controlling what data is being accessible and by whom in their organization, and also look at their policies, procedures, and the technical controls that back those policies and procedures to ensure that from the top down they're all meeting those regulatory body requirements.
And what would you say is the main thing that they're kind of getting wrong at the moment? Would you say?
I think the main thing they're getting wrong is they don't even have the basic policies and procedures in place. And I mean, we're talking incident response plans, acceptable use of AI, bring your own device, those items that are required under PIPEDA, and that is a requirement for all industries, but specifically in the financial services industry, they are required to have that as well as review it annually and sign off that they have.
Interesting. So a lot of problems that like an MSP sometimes have when kind of when trying to sign a client that's not been with an MSP before, it's obviously just showing the value that you can bring. How
Mhm.
have you found that? How have you kind of got around that bottleneck?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you've been in this world as well, dealing with many MSPs. Sticker shock can be something for clients when they've never dealt with an outside provider. How we normally approach that situation is break it down in terms of what it would look like if they hired an employee or a full-time staff member in order to do what we're proposing. We then look at the value that we can bring to the table by hiring a team rather than one individual, and then we ultimately break it down into what's important to you or how long can you afford to be down. Because hypothetically, I'm going to charge you 20 grand a year, and if you lose 20 grand in a week while you're down, or you are required to pay a $5 million fine, what would you rather over time? You
Yeah.
know, again, it looks like an insurance policy, and it is, but the only difference is between an insurance policy and what Dagi can provide you is that we can show you what we've done and why you're paying that every month versus, oh man, I didn't call my insurance provider. Darn, my premiums are still going up. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what did you actually get for it? And I don't mean to rag on the insurance industry, but when I look at my own home and auto policies, you kind of wonder, huh? You know, I've been a great driver for 5 years or whatever, and yet my premiums still go up because of other people in my world, and there's no, there's nothing to back why there's value to that. So we have the opportunity in order to show that with evidence through quarterly meetings, through monthly reports that we can issue to clients, and really show that, yeah, it's gonna be a ding to your bottom line, but what's more important to you? Being able to meet regulatory requirements, and then also here's why, and here's what we did for you and for that dollar.
I actually really like that. I actually really like that, like breaking it down as if there was hiring an employee, then you could have like a team of people. I actually really like. I might nick that one for myself. To be fair, I feel like
You
it's
just have to
quite.
put Jeff Wong TM at the end. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, how can we talk about kind of your kind of team setup? Because I'd be interested to kind of get into kind of what you guys are doing, in regards to your team and how that's set up. I mean, is it are you the main founder, or is there you got like a business partner or anything else?
So I am the founder. I'm the sole owner of Dagi. We do have a great team behind me, who again I would argue that they're way more important than I am.
Yeah,
They know more. They teach me every day, and they're the backbone of what makes us a reason why people approach Dagi to be able to be their service provider. We have my right hand man CTO is Andrew Trudgeon, and he manages our technology team. He's based out of our head office in London, and below him we have a few other techs, remote and on site, that do either triaging or frontline, or what we call them tech first responders. Then we have Megan Pinnell, who's what we internally call our chaos coordinator, but really what she is customer relations and min support. And then we've got Jacob Fader, who's our again tech first responder, and then Andrew Ray, who does triage remotely for us.
nice. So when you started 8 years ago, when you actually transitioned into an MSP, what do you think from now to then has been like the most, I don't want to say critical hire, but like the person that once you actually hired that job title, you thought, how have I ever lived without this person? And then my another question on that is like, what do you think is the next big hire that's going to be like, wow, I needed that?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I would say there's everybody who's on team now is how I felt.
Yeah.
And this isn't to downgrade anybody who's worked for me in the past or worked along with Dagi in the past. But Andrew Trudgeon was really the first hire that transitioned us into that managed services world. That wasn't his original title of CTO. Of course, he grew into that as we changed personnel, and he started adding additional value to the organization. But he, now being in that role, has been invaluable in order to bring services to market as well as manage our technology team. I'd then say, Jacob, he's he's on the front lines. He's dealing with our clients every day, and I mean they love him and they should. He's really great dealing with customers, and again couldn't do anything without him. And then you have Megan, who was hired early in 2025, and she's been again invaluable, taking a lot off of my plate in order to be able to focus on other items. And she also kind of softens me up a bit. She's a great person to have on staff because she can see other sides of I don't want to say the argument, but the situation or the problem or the issue in terms of dealing with customers. So really, they've all had some
All do
value
they
that I
work together? Yeah.
don't really want to deal without them, and I'm really glad they're on the team. The next hire, as we are growing and just a little bit to pump our own tires here, we grew by 25% in the quarter three and quarter four of 2025, which
Nice.
was been some phenomenal growth for us. So as we're in that path and we're in that trajectory again for 2026, we will be hiring an additional technician to be in our other locations. We'll be looking into adding a specific inside sales rep, or what we call a sales development representative, who's going to be making phone calls, making appointments, and ultimately providing that first interaction with Dagi when we're trying to prospect and acquire new customers.
That makes sense. So in a dream world, what exactly would you like to be spending your time on? Obviously, as the CEO, you like to focus on high leverage activities. Like, what would you say you're doing that now, or do you think there's still some stuff that you need to kind of get your hands dirty with that's kind of in do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yeah. So I would say my talents are wasted in doing tech work,
Yeah.
and I only say that because my staff is much better than me. And if you have to see me, it's because it was convenient for me to come out first, or it's a very low level problem, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying I don't have any technical ability, but again, I'm not Jacob or Andrew. I just don't have that kind of the training or the knowledge base. So for me, what I really need to do is be able to let go, and I think that's what happens with any entrepreneur or founder, is that they like to have their fingers in every pie, so they have their pulse on what's happening. And so that just happened in 2025 for us, was that I was starting to delegate a little bit more. And what I really like to focus on, and this is just because it's my personality, who I am, and what I like to do, is that the customer acquisition. I really enjoy meeting new people and networking and educating and doing things like this, where I get to have the opportunity to speak with other people in the industry, understand what the trends are out there, what's coming next, which my staff do help me out with when we talk technology. But at the end of the day, I like to be meeting with customers virtually, in person, over the phone, whatever it may be, and ultimately trying to provide a solution for them that works and solve problems for them.
That makes sense. So what would you kind of put your 25% growth in Q3 and Q4 down to? Why do you think there was such a big spike in revenue?
It was mainly because we revamped our tech stack, what we offer to our customers. At the same time, we added value into our packages and realigned them to be, again, more security first. And at the end of the day, what we did realize is we were undervaluing our expertise, our knowledge, and our tools, and the way we deliver those tools. So we did have some increase in our pricing, which we hadn't really done in since before COVID. 2019, basically 2020 is kind of when we last looked at whether or not we were in the right space and being profitable, as well as providing value to our customers. So we did increase our packages, but we also in dollar value, but we increased the value as well. So not just in cost, but value. So repositioning ourselves as security first and ensuring that we can offer the right tools to our customers really helped us gain that revenue.
Interesting. And what, obviously you've been going for a while, that you kind of have been around the block a little bit. So over the kind of, you mentioned that you like to spend your time doing client acquisition. So what has been the kind of marketing strategies that you've been using over the years, or the acquisition strategies that have got you to kind of where you are now?
That's part of the reason why we did so well in 2025. We actually had not even considered marketing.
Really?
It was mostly word of mouth. I shouldn't say we hadn't considered marketing. I would I would classify networking as marketing. I would classify um, asking for referrals and getting referrals as marketing. But what we weren't doing is targeting outside of our base or outside of our network. Our focus for 2020 and end of 2025 and into 2026 is really to focus dollars online and through print media to attract new customers and ultimately what our SDR, sales development rep, will do is cultivate those leads and then try and convert them into meetings and ultimately appointments for myself. So I truly believe that our marketing strategy this year is more in line, and having been in business for 15 years basically, we haven't really done much marketing. It's mostly just been me hot knocking on doors, shaking hands, kissing babies,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. But as we, if we want to grow, I'm only one person. There's only so much time, and we really have to focus on the clients that will understand our value, and that we can provide, top level customer service and support to. So that will be the biggest thing for us in 2026 as we really push for marketing those particular valued clients.
Interesting. So you mentioned that you're going to be quite picky with your kind of clients that you're working with. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for any entrepreneur to say no to
Yeah.
somebody. Here, sign this napkin, and we'll get started with business. But what we really want to do is have a standardized process for that, and so that they understand. We do things really, really well. And I'm not going to try and fit you in a box, but I want you to understand that these are the things that we know we do well, and this is why we do it. So if you don't see the value in that, then we may not be the right fit for you. And I would think that goes and that should be a mentality for any business owner in any business. You can't please everybody, and there's really no need to, because there's somebody for everybody everywhere. And so we'll be less, again, from a business perspective, we'll be less willing to concede on price or on what we believe to be the right course of action for a customer. But we still want to be able to say yes to those customers that may not be perfect for us, but still need the right push into the MSP world.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully that
interesting.
answers the question.
Yeah, that did answer the question. So do you think it's quite difficult would you say that it's quite difficult or quite easy to get in touch with the types of businesses that we spoke about, the people that haven't necessarily had an MSP before? I mean, are they smaller companies? I mean, what's the kind of endpoints that you're looking to kind of go for?
So prior to our 2025 revamp, or what we decided we're calling Dagi 2.0, we didn't really have we didn't have a cap, and we still don't necessarily have a cap on the number of users. But what I will say is that it comes down to what the contract value is for us. Because if you are somebody who's, five users, employees or less, but are willing to spend the money to be security first focused, then I'm okay with that. But our true sweet spot is, in the 10 to hundreds of users, because those are the ones that either need specific compliance requirements to meet those requirements, or they have multiple endpoints, or they have multiple locations. So they ultimately need teams of people to support them rather than one individual. And so, I wouldn't say it's a number of endpoints. I would say, what kind of a client are you going to be? Are you growing? Are you security first focused? Are you just looking to have a break fix, which is not our model? And if that's the case, then you might not be the right client for us. But again, I wouldn't rule anybody out, but we'd love to stay in that contract value range rather than endpoints or users range.
Nice. That makes sense. How did you find transitioning your break fix clients to the managed services? Have you still got some people that are doing break fix, like old customers?
Yeah, we do have a few legacy customers that are on a kind of a monitoring only package. So it's not like we won't take, we're not a walk-in repair shop. We're definitely not going to do that. But if you're willing to, in the past, willing to sign on for at least a base monitoring package where you're going to get antivirus and endpoint detection response, or a bulk of hours in a block up front, or a discounted rate on hours, then of course we'll support that. But it's really, as we move into the future here, we'll be offering those break fix clients managed services packages and added value. But our goal is to be a break fix a non break fix MSP by the end of 2026 entirely. The adoption of our managed services packages the response has been fairly good. there will be some clients that it just won't make sense for them to do, and we may lose them, but we'll help them however they need to in order to find that MSP or tech that they can have on their staff, or at least in their Rolodex, to be able to reach out to them.
And how do you kind of actually say, like, listen, this is kind of what we do now. This is what. How do you kind of demonstrate the value to them? Like, not when you say, like, we're not actually going to just be fixing tickets anymore. Like, how do you kind of actually demonstrate that out to them?
Yeah, it goes back to, again, you trying to provide that education. We're gonna say, we've learned a lot ourselves over the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and we really understand now what it means to be security first focused, and why it's important that we try and explain the value of doing a proactive package rather than a reactive package. We do preface it with, it's nowhere near the same pricing model that you've had in the past. And we do want to say that, we appreciate your business, and we do appreciate that you've been with us for so long, and even often from the beginning of our foray into that IT world. However, as we transition to customers or as we transition our knowledge into that space of security first, we really need to be offering those packages to our customers, and here it is, and hopefully it makes sense for you. And if not, we fully understand. Let's talk about how we can transition you to that, or find you somebody who's going to fit your budget, or fit your expectations of what MSPs, or not even an MSP, but a tech person might look like for you.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I want to touch a bit on AI, Jeff, if that's okay, because I know that you guys. I mean, I'd just love to get your perspective on it. Are you guys looking to kind of adopt AI? Are you looking to sell AI, or kind of how do you guys kind of want to use it at Dagi?
Yeah, this AI is fairly is the hottest topic
The
in the
hard
business
stuff.
tech world at the moment. Um, and for us, again, it comes down to education. So, Daji's a proponent of AI, and I think if you're not using it, you're going to be left behind. I don't believe that in the world of professional services that AI is going to replace or take over. It's just going to be able to aid people in how they do work. And I'm going to just give you a little anecdotal aside, completely unrelated to the tech world, but if you I'm sure everybody knows who Charlie Puth is, and the fact that he's just a really well known prodigy in the music world, and he had a video that was maybe 60 seconds long where he talked about AI, and how he felt it would impact his own industry, in the music industry. And I took a lot from it because I think it's very similar. I don't believe that it will take over everybody's job, but what it will do is it will require people to learn how to incorporate it into their jobs. And he said the same thing about from sampling to from the record world into the digital world. We had to learn to use these new tools, and I think that's the same for every industry. If you don't try and at least adopt some version of AI into your business world, you're going to be left behind, and your competitors will, surpass you very, very quickly in that world. Now, I always say that with a grain of salt, because there are some industries that simply can't use AI, or shouldn't be using AI without having, paid licenses and an understanding of how it affects their environment.
Mm.
Our conversations when we meet with customers are exactly along that lines. What are you using for AI? What are your policies around AI? How do your employees know what they can and cannot do with AI? And it really, again, comes back to our compliance knowledge and understanding that AI is important, but you need to set rules, or everybody's just going to go free willy nilly to use it. And especially with shadow AI becoming a big problem. The average cost of a shadow AI breach is 300 plus K. And I mean, imagine that, just one of your employees starts using a tool that you'd never heard of, and all of a sudden, bam, you're on the hook for a huge payout in order to either A, get your data back, or B, contain the problem. So for us, it's education. We are going to be offering some AI to our customers as a service, including that education piece. But more importantly, especially for businesses, they need to understand how they're going to use it in their business, and who can use it and for what. So that was a really long-winded answer to say, yes, we're definitely doing stuff with AI.
No,
We're
I like
definitely
it.
trying to educate it, and we're definitely trying to provide it as a service because it's out there already, and we know we can do it. So.
And how are you guys adopting AI like internally? Have you used it to kind of boost some efficiencies yet? I mean, are you using it for like your ticketing system, for example?
Yeah, so we're using AI through I wouldn't even call it AI. It's really more automated
Yeah.
stuff, at least for ticketing and for for moving recurring low priority problems along through our queue to resolve them more quickly. The biggest place that we're using AI is through our partnerships with security first companies, where we're using AI to detect threats, either sandbox them, quarantine them, or even try and open them in an AI sandbox.
Mm.
And if it is a real threat, or if it does require human interaction, we're pinging a security operations center or a SOC in order to resolve that issue or further investigate and respond to any threats that come up. In addition to using it for protecting our own clients, we use it internally, for research or for building marketing materials, proofreading. Um, my favorite one is using it to, after we've written an RFP, we put it up against an RFP send out and say, did we meet all the requirements? And it can just quickly read to see make sure that if we've done it. So again, a long-winded to say we use AI quite frequently and almost every day, from ChatGPT, which everybody knows, Claude AI, Notebook LM, HeyGen, 11 Labs for voiceover stuff. My goodness, what else do we use? I mean, Perplexity for research. It runs. There are a lot out there that we use, and it just depends on what you're using it for. And then I think the biggest one that's coming out is coding, right? Flet, and I've already forgotten the other one that Meta uses, but
Yeah.
building applications through regular text to code is pretty amazing. And if you're not looking into this to try and build your own apps, then again, you're going to be left behind because yes, you could pay somebody to do it, and then that probably sucks for programmers, but you still have to program the program to do programming. So you still need those types of people. But again, I just think that's going to change the world in terms of how we interact and how we provide services to customers is through building apps without having to have coding experience.
It is a changing world, isn't it? Makes you think what is nobody really knows today what's it going to be like in the next kind of 3 to 5 years. It literally you just don't know, do you?
Yeah, it's one of the what does that say where don't don't tell God your plans, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's like, how do you even plan for the future when you have no idea how AI or technology in general, especially in our worlds, right? I mean,
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if you're a carpenter, great, just AI can't really build you a house. But yet, I mean, 3D, we can 3D print houses, but doing service on them again is a manual thing. So um, it's kind of interesting to think, well, how are we going to plan for this? And we just have to be, the real planning is we have to be open to adopting more
To
than anything.
innovate,
You
yeah.
have to be, I think, again, I think that this speaks volumes across the world. You always have to be willing to learn. If you want to get better at, if you want to improve your business or if you want to improve yourself in general, you have to be open to learning. And the fact that you leave school, post secondary, whatever it might be, doesn't mean that you have to stop learning or you can stop learning. You
Of
shouldn't,
course.
but you could. You shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, again, open to adopting, open to learning, open to new ideas in the tech world. That's just how we're going to be able to use that tech.
I like it. I like the style. I mean, where do you kind of see Dagi before we wrap up in the kind of next, I don't know, year or 2 years? I mean, 2026. Well, have you got any milestones or anything that internally you'd like? I would want to achieve this by then.
Yeah, again, we really want to secure our foothold in the financial services, wealth planning, and private insurance. Life insurance and not necessarily auto and home or anything like that. But we really want to secure our place in that world. We'd like to see some more recognition. We have an intention of going after a MSP Titan of Industry Award again this year. We were a finalist last year, which was great. But we do intend on going for one this year, so that's a big goal for us. And of course, we have revenue targets and year-over-year percentage growths in mind. I foresee our team to being 50% larger by the end of the year, which I'm hoping for. And I'd like to see a few new clients in that financial services world. I think that we'll truly add value there, and we'll really be able to speak to it. And not to talk about clients like they're low hanging fruit, but I believe we really do have opportunity there to show them the value that we can add, and that's our big goal this year.
Nice. I like it a lot. Well, listen, Jeff, it's been a pleasure. If the audience do want to kind of find out a little bit more about you and a little bit more about Dagi, where can they find you, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can send a carrier pigeon to me, or no, I'm just kidding. We're in the tech world. Email's fine. We've got our website, dagi.ca. I'm on LinkedIn, so is the company page as well. Or, of course, visit our website and book an appointment with me when there's an available time. I'm always open and interested in conversations, whether it be about tech or just meeting new individuals in the space, or even just to make a contact. I'm all about networking. I think growing your network is important. So even if it's to reach out and say hi and introduce yourself and allow me to learn about your business, I would totally be open for that. So yes,
Nice.
please reach out.
I'll put your links in the description, Jeff, so don't worry about that. But no, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed the conversation. Actually, been some really insightful stuff going on there. So thank you very much.